Hi everyone and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. Today's video is definitely more of a chilled, laid-back type of video. I have here some fragrances that I promised I will give you an update. Some fragrances I have filmed reviews like more than half a year ago by now, and even though for some of these fragrances I have given you an update in, let's just say, different videos where I have mentioned, but I haven't done like a dedicated fragrance update video, because for some I said that I will update you once they will get a chance to mature, to macerate, to sit a little bit, and to tell you if I have noticed any changes. So as you guys, like I've mentioned, this is a very laid back, casual video. Feel free to put me in the background while you, I don't know, do some cooking, do some cleaning in the house, I don't know, while you work out, I don't know, but let's talk about fragrances. So, in no particular order, you guys, let me start with one that I feel like I've mentioned. Amazing start. Let me start with the fragrance that I feel like I've mentioned it in a lot of videos, even though I haven't done, like I've mentioned, a dedicated update video. This is Amberythme from Afnan, from the Edict line. Now let me just get these pieces of paper closer. So this fragrance, scent-wise, I cannot give you much of an update because I genuinely feel like it smells the same. I haven't noticed any differences, but I can tell you what I feel about the fragrance after wearing it, because I have worn it a lot. This is a loud fragrance, you guys. If you are looking for a beast mode fragrance, but like a true beast mode fragrance, and if you love the DNA of Khamra, if you love especially that apple-like facet with that spicy cinnamon, and if you love the DNA of Instant Crush from Maceration, this is your fragrance. Like, I can guarantee you will love this fragrance. It doesn't smell like you were to apply Khamra and then Instant Crush, even though scent-wise it definitely follows that direction, but the texture of the fragrance, or what they managed to do with the, like the actual DNA, the texture of the fragrance, they made it even more bright, not necessarily light, but a very molecular feeling. This legit feels like a cloud of fragrance that just envelops you and covers you and is everywhere. Like, if, let's just say, I apply this fragrance right now, I do, I don't know, 6-7 sprays, let's just say. I go outside of the room, I come back, maybe I'm going to the groceries, I don't know. When I will come back, I will still smell this fragrance lingering in the air. So this is such a strong fragrance, you guys. Not only that it lasts, like longevity is above 7.5 hours on my skin, but the way this fragrance projects, it's insane. I told you in a video that one time, it was during the summer season we had, I choked myself with this fragrance because I applied it too much, and legit it made me sick. Like, I felt like I was about to, you know? Yeah, so I had to open all the windows in the car. Sorry for the noise, that was my coffee cup. Now, this is the update for this fragrance. I would highly encourage you to test it, but keep in mind, you need to be familiar, first of all, with the DNA of Khamra or Angel's Share, and with the DNA of Instant Crush. And you need to keep in mind, you guys, this fragrance is not the type of fragrance that smells extremely natural, like something you would naturally smell in nature. To me, this is a type of fragrance that actually feels quite synthetic, but in a very good way. Synthetic in the sense that it feels extremely molecular and minimalistic almost. Yeah, and it smells just chic and put together and sophisticated, and yeah, this is the type of fragrance that I could imagine it being someone's signature fragrance. For real now. Like, this is the type of fragrance that you could wear in the summertime. Of course, do less sprays all year round, basically. Summer, spring, winter, autumn, all seasons, daytime, nighttime. Works amazing layered with so many other fragrances. So yeah, all in all, I do think it's a beautiful fragrance. I saw the prices have increased a lot, at least here in Romania, for this fragrance. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but I will add here on the screen. And I want to say that for this amount, I think it's worth it. Even for, let's just say, 70-80 euros, I still think it's worth it, because it's a beast mode of a fragrance. Like, you genuinely don't need a lot of sprays, but of course try to be mindful and try to sample it first, because let's just say the majority of the feedback was amazing, but some people were a little bit disappointed because to them it smelled just like Khamra by Lattafa, even though to me they don't smell like you guys. But you know, everyone experiences the fragrance in their own unique way. This is why I test it. To me, like, when I smell this fragrance, I can smell the resemblances to Khamra, but it genuinely doesn't smell like Khamra to me. Like, even the texture, like this molecular feeling that this fragrance has, is very different to Khamra. Khamra is much more of an opaque, full body type of fragrance. This feels like a nuclear cloud of fragrance that sits around you. So that was the update on Amberythme. You know what, let me just move my coffee. And now let me mention the next fragrance. Eclaire by Lattafa. So you remember I have did a review for the fragrance. It was more like a review, first impressions, that type of scent, since this was a blind buy for me. And since then I've used it a lot, you guys. I don't have a lot of it left. I don't know if the camera will focus, but from this 10 ml decant I have like what, 1 or 2 wears, perhaps 3 if I don't apply a lot. Now look. I have such mixed feelings about this fragrance. Because on one hand I was expecting and I was hoping and I was imagining that this would be a much stronger fragrance, and I was a little bit disappointed when I first tried it and I saw how subtle it was. Like the scent profile, don't get me wrong, beautiful, ultra realistic. It legit put in the center stage a beautifully done tonka bean accord that feels nutty, almost a little bit sugary. You guys, it smells so beautiful, so beautiful. It legit smells like a glass of milk with a teaspoon of honey, and you grate some tonka bean on top, and then you lean in to smell this and you get the lactonic milkiness of the fragrance that has this subtle quality but also sweet. This is a sweet fragrance. Scent wise it's beautiful, but performance wise, in all honesty, I haven't noticed any improvement, at least not on my skin. And I've even tested it yesterday because I knew I wanted to film an update for the fragrance, and usually once I get to do a review on the fragrance, after that when I wear it for myself, I'm not really timing the longevity, asking about the projection, you know, I just wear it to enjoy it. But yesterday, since I knew I wanted to film an update on this fragrance, in particular today, I've actually timed it still for 4.5 hours, maximum 5 hours, but I'd say it's after like 2.5 hours, it's more of a skin scent, I would say. Even though, you know what I have noticed? On my skin, like from my skin, it doesn't project. Like when I spray it on my skin, it's almost like my skin eats the fragrance in a way. However, this, because I find this DNA extremely calming and relaxing and comforting for me, I started to wear it a lot when I go to bed, and I spray it on my pajamas. And let's just say, I don't know, like 8 hours later after I wake up, I still smell the fragrance like strongly projecting from my pajama. And then let's just say even a few hours later, like 1.5 to 2 hours later, when I'm doing my makeup, like if I have sprayed the fragrance in my hair, every time I move, every time I do anything, I still get whiffs of this fragrance. So maybe it's just on my skin that the fragrance doesn't stick, doesn't linger, doesn't do much, but on clothes I was surprised. Now I cannot understand how on my skin it can be such a whisper of a fragrance. Again, beautifully done, like scent-wise, nothing to complain. It's a beautiful fragrance. I actually really enjoy the scent profile of this fragrance. But how on my skin can it be such a whisper of a fragrance, whereas on my clothes, I genuinely feel like on my clothes it pulls through like a full day wear in a way. I told you, like if I spray it at nighttime, I go to sleep, like, and I usually do like 4 to 5 sprays, you know, since I'm going to sleep, I'm not like overspraying this fragrance, but when I wake up I still get beautiful whiffs of the fragrance. So yeah, I do really enjoy this scent profile. I feel like because I had, let's just say, pretty different expectations scent wise for it. I mean, look, scent wise, not really scent wise, let me clarify, strength wise, I had pretty different expectations for this fragrance. Maybe this is why I was a little bit disappointed. And in all honesty, because of the price as well, like I don't know, like the actual retail price that Lattafa has for this fragrance, I think it's worth it. I think it's an amazing price, but I can find it for, let's just say, more than double the price here in Romania. Like some websites have crazy prices for this fragrance, and to pay 80 euros, 100 euros for this fragrance, and then for it 3.5 hours later to be a skin scent and to barely smell it, I didn't think it was worth it. But if I find this fragrance for a good price, for a reasonable price, I definitely think it's worth it. And I have just learned to appreciate what it is, you know. It's definitely not a bismuth fragrance. It's definitely not one of those fragrances that I'm wearing or that I choose to wear when I want everyone around me to be able to smell my fragrance. But it's that type of fragrance that I wear when I want something that feels calming for me, comforting, something sweet, almost a little bit cocooning, cozy, like, you know, very feminine at the same time. Yeah, and it's a very calming scent profile for me. I don't know, you know, because of the milk accord with the honey, like milk and honey, it's very calming. And then that beautiful grated tonka bean adds such a nice facet to the fragrance. I have just learned to appreciate it for what it is. And again, after I will use this one up, I do think I want to get the full bottle if I find it for a decent price. And also something I wanted to mention, you guys, I treat this fragrance as a standalone fragrance compared to Caramel Cascade. And I also want to add Caramel Cascade in my collection because I've almost used completely the sample that I have for the fragrance, and I love how it smells. This, as well as Caramel Cascade. Look, this one, even though this one I find it very comforting and calming, very feminine and gentle and suave and delicate and sweet and delicious, but very gentle. This is a very gentle and calming fragrance, at least for me. This doesn't really give me like sexy, naughty vibes, or I don't know, like mysterious and daring, or like bold and confident and opulent. No, this is gentle and calming. Whereas to me, Caramel Cascade, because it's a richer, denser fragrance, I could actually see myself wearing that fragrance out. I've layered it with some of the fragrances I have in my collection, just like I've layered this one as well. And I have to say, this one works amazing layered with so many other fragrances, you guys. So yeah, again, I do think I want to add it to my collection once I find a reasonable price for it. So let me move to the next fragrance. Let me talk a little bit about Kashaf. I have filmed a review for this fragrance. I don't even remember when by now. It feels like more than half a year ago. And I told you that I will update you. Look, as you can see, I haven't worn it that much. If I have like once or twice or 3 times perhaps. But even then, more to test it than like full wear test. Because truth is, when it comes to this fragrance, it still didn't develop in a way that I would have hoped or preferred for it to develop. And what I mean by this, I still feel like the woody accord, that's slightly sharp and dry and a bit of an abrasive woody accord, it's still a little bit too dominant in the opening for my liking. I would have hoped that by now, as the fragrance gets to sit, in a way the woody accord would have melted within the other notes and it would have become more like an accent in the opening rather than overpowering and suffocating, or legit like eating a little bit of the other notes, you know what I mean? So yeah, from this perspective, yeah, this is a clean one. So from this perspective, it still hasn't reached a place that I would have hoped it would by now. But this is not a bad fragrance. This is definitely not a bad fragrance. You just need, like, if you would like to purchase this fragrance, or if I would wear this fragrance, is the type of scent that I would apply, let's just say like 20 minutes, like on my clothes, like 20 minutes before I get dressed, and also on myself, like let's just say 10-15 minutes before I leave the house. So by the time I would be out of the house, I wouldn't get this opening, or let's just say I would get to smell what's the most pleasant part about this fragrance, not really the opening. The opening, I still feel like it's a little bit abrasive. Yeah, even though I know that La Capitale is not the smoothest of blends either, because I have smelled that fragrance. But yeah, see, maybe this is why between La Capitale and Mula Mula, I much more prefer Mula Mula, because to me Mula Mula doesn't have this rough woody accord in the opening. Yeah, this very synthetic, dry, a little bit of an abrasive woody accord. To me, Mula Mula has the caramelized fruity facets that make it absolutely addicting and delicious, and for me that is a truly intoxicating fragrance. Like whenever I go to my fragrance collection and I smell that fragrance, I am always just like, because I love the scent of it and I love how this fragrance smells like as well. But let's just say I'm struggling with the opening a little bit. And I think this is the reason why I haven't really reached for this fragrance, because when I wanted something, I had, because I have used it up completely, I had Mojo from Twins Paris, which, by the way, I still feel like Mojo is a better option if you're looking for a smoother blend. Indeed, it is more similar to Mula Mula from Byron than to La Capitale from Zerzhov, but it's easier to wear. Like, I've gone through like a full bottle of that fragrance. Granted, it's only a 50 ml, but still, I went through it pretty fast and I love it, and I definitely want to add it back in my collection. Whereas this one, I'm struggling a little bit with the opening, but once the opening let's just say that it gets a chance to tone down, especially the woody accord, because it's the woody accord I'm struggling with. It's too dry, too sharp, and it's just too suffocating. Like the ratio of the woody accord in the opening is a little bit too dominant compared to the other notes. And I feel like what makes this DNA emblematic is this caramelized fruity facet, which to my nose should have shined more, like it should have been the spotlight of this fragrance. And it gets there, I do smell like this beautiful like red fruity facet, like strawberry with something like a raspberry that's a little bit more crisp. Peach, I smell peach, but again, not a natural fruity aroma, no, that like artificial flavor of these fruits. And I find this aspect freaking delicious, and it adds such a playfulness to this fragrance. Yeah, with the caramelized base right underneath and with a little bit of vanilla. All in all, I still love this DNA, you guys. I still love this DNA. But again, I'm still struggling a little bit with the fragrance. Like, what's the word? Performance? Yeah, performance-wise, nothing to complain. This is a very loud fragrance. But I think this is, I don't know exactly, of course, I'm not a perfumer and I am no perfumer, so I don't know exactly how a fragrance is created. But I feel like this sharpness in the opening is the price you as a consumer had to pay for this fragrance to be as loud as it is. Because, for instance, this is not sharp. This has nothing sharp about it. This is a very smooth blend. Oh, and by the way, I get nothing alcoholic about it anymore. So yeah. Whereas with this one, you do need to give it a little bit of time, or even more time. I still have hope for this fragrance, you guys. I still feel like it will, maybe this is just my optimistic side, I don't know, but I still feel like it will reach a point where I wouldn't be as bothered from the woody accord. But yeah. So let's move on to the other fragrances, and let me continue with this one, with December Vanilla. Now guys, I'm not really sure what's the order of the videos. Maybe you will see this video before you see the video I have done in partnership with Riffs Perfumes, but I have filmed a video with Riffs that is supposed to be live on Friday. And as I was testing fragrances from that brand, because they sent me 2 fragrances, and as I was looking through their catalog of fragrances, they have inspirations. I saw that they also have an inspiration of Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli, and you know my love for that DNA, you guys. And also I do want to purchase a Becca bottle, but here in Romania, you guys, like, it's crazy, basically. Yeah. The 100 ml version is out of stock. It has been out of stock for ages by now, or at least what it feels like ages. But the 50 ml version is still available, but the 50 ml version, you guys, it's more expensive than the 100 ml version. And I was like, what? I really wanted to purchase it for Black Friday, because I have some fragrances that, even though I have inspirations of them, but I still love the OG fragrance so much, and what the perfumer did with that fragrance, that I would like ideally to have more Becca bottles, plus inspirations, to make sure that I have enough scent to last me through this lifetime, and maybe the next one. I swear, for a fragrance for Musk Mysterio from Eclaire, I have enough backups, you guys. They can last me through this lifetime and through the next lifetime. Yeah. But let me give you an update on this fragrance. This fragrance, you guys, even though, like I've mentioned, very close, definitely similar DNA, but they made the DNA a little bit more wearable. And even though, again, you guys, it definitely, like, when I smell this, I sense the, like, that aspect that makes Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli emblematic. You have it here as well, but it's just small details that like differ between December Vanilla and Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli, details that I love. Don't get me wrong, I love this fragrance and I have worn it, and I still think it's an amazing inspiration. Oh, and what I wanted to tell you, Riffs has an inspiration of Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli, and I purchased that inspiration, and I will do like a review and a comparison. But this, you guys, again, scent-wise, I can say that I have noticed many changes. It still opens up with a vanilla core that smells like vanilla pudding, and you drizzle on top of that thick, creamy, rich vanilla pudding rum essence, the type of rum essence that you use for pastries, like for baking different desserts, let's just say, is that specific rum essence. So I would say it's not as boozy. I mean, it is boozy, It definitely has the alcoholic underlying essence about it. It's not rum like the actual rum that you would drink in a way. It's much more flavored. Like the scent profile of this rum accord that they used here, it's extremely flavored and rich, and it has a lot of facets. Something chocolatey like almost, that boozy hint, that slight alcoholic boozy hint. And with that, extremely flavored rum essence. So yeah, I think this fragrance is amazing, you guys. It's amazing. And I actually think they made it a little bit more wearable. Yeah, definitely more wearable. It's more gourmand in the opening. It legit feels like you just made like one of those instant packets of vanilla pudding at home, and you just drizzle like rum essence on top of it. This is the scent profile. I don't think the patchouli overpowers the composition. I don't have anything bad to tell you about this fragrance. I still recommend it. I still think it's an amazing fragrance. I still think that for the price, not only that you have a beautiful presentation, amazing, like amazing scent profile. Of course, keep in mind, maybe I'm a little bit biased when I tell how amazing this scent profile is, but I genuinely love this fragrance, and I love the OG fragrance that this took inspiration from, and I would recommend you. Like I cannot recommend this fragrance enough. Acquired taste, keep in mind, is not the type of fragrance that you blindly purchase unless you are familiar. First of all, if you are familiar with patchouli, even though what they created here, it's more of a gourmand pastry take on patchouli, but you still have the patchouli that adds depth to the fragrance, you guys. This grounding, almost a little bit of an earthy facet to the fragrance, and paired with the woody accord that feels pretty rich. This fragrance, as it develops, it just keeps getting darker and darker, but to me it's darker, I don't know, I find it very alluring, very seductive, very witchy a little bit, I don't know why, but like a very enchanting type of fragrance, the type of fragrance that just puts like a spell on you in a way. This fragrance and the OG fragrance, I don't know what it is about them, but I'm telling you, every time I wear them, like the way they make me feel, like how confident I feel when I wear this fragrance as well as the other fragrance, it's like, so I had to quickly go and check if the camera is still recording, because I told you after 30 minutes it just cut off. Yeah, what I was telling you is that I feel like I was telling you that I feel amazing when I wear this fragrance, and I was telling you that it's crazy how different fragrances can bring out different energies within you. Like I wear some fragrances that make me feel very like soft and not really like a damsel in distress, but just like very soft and gentle, you know. And I wear other fragrances that, I don't know, like they awaken that volcanic side of me, you know, that like fiery side. And I think this is one of them, like the confidence I feel and I have when I wear this fragrance, and how, I don't know, to me it just makes me feel like very mysterious, you know, like very, like, I don't know why. Yeah, and I think it's very interesting to notice what type of energy a fragrance awakens within you, because you guys, fragrances are powerful. I know, you know, some say that fragrances can be aphrodisiacs, some say that there's no such thing, but you know what I think is the truth? I think that the fragrance has power in, how to describe it? Like a fragrance can awaken that energy within you. So it's not the fragrance that's an aphrodisiac, it's your energy that's intoxicating when you wear a fragrance that makes you feel good, you know. Yeah, those were my 2 cents. So yeah, again, this is the update for this fragrance. I still recommend it. I still think it's beautiful. I love this DNA. I want to have this one in my collection. I want to have Vanilla Royale in my collection. I couldn't choose between the two, you guys. I couldn't choose. This has its beauty, and let's not forget that they managed to create an extremely affordable inspiration of the fragrance. So like, let's give kudos to Paris Corner for this. But as someone who loves the DNA, like, again, that is a DNA that I feel like it's very close to my heart. Of course, I want to have the OG. I want to have that inspiration from Reeves. Hopefully, you guys, I will enjoy it as well. Because if I have this inspiration, if I have the one from Reeves, and if I have the OG Vanilla Royale, then I think I'm good. Of course, if I will ever come across the 100 ml version, I will definitely get a backup bottle. Because again, I want that fragrance to last me at least through this one lifetime here, at least. So next fragrance, okay, let me mention this fragrance. This fragrance is called Ishq Shuyukh Gold by Lattafa Pride. Yeah, let me just take off this heavy cap. Now look, you guys, I have filmed a review for this fragrance more than a year ago, a year and a half ago. Again, I'm not the best with time, like, yeah, but I'd say a year and a half ago, a year ago. Let me just spray it. Scent-wise, what I wanted to tell you, scent-wise, I haven't noticed many differences. It still has that creamy, sweet facet with an underlying metallic smell to my nose, and with a very pronounced sugary accord that I later discovered it comes from the tonka beans, because once I got to smell actual real tonka beans, legit you have that sugariness that comes from tonka beans here. You have such a beautiful and nuanced sugary facet, but again, this is not a sugary accord that's the most wearable one, because it's paired with notes that make this fragrance feel quite challenging, quite, of course, artistic and creative leaning for sure, but also a little bit more of an acquired taste, unapologetic, you know. Yeah, beautiful fragrance. See, when I'm smelling it now, I really love how it smells, but for some reason, I don't reach enough for this fragrance. When I want a sugary fragrance, I either wear Arabian Tonka or Secret Musk from Khadlaj, or this one, because this one has a sugary accord from the heart till the dry down, or Vanilla Royale, or yeah. Look, I still think that if you are looking for a fragrance that's different, if you are looking for a fragrance that is not afraid to be in the spotlight, we do as well while wearing it, because when you wear something like this, everyone around you will be able to smell this fragrance, but you need to be very comfortable, because some will enjoy it, some I can guarantee they will not enjoy it. It's just like when you wear that or any loud, more of an acquired taste type of fragrance, some people will turn their heads with good looks, like, wow, what is that intoxicating scent? Some will turn their head with like more bad looks, like, where is that funkiness coming from? I'd say this is why you need to be very confident when you wear something like this, even if you apply less. I don't know, yeah. I've never smelled this one on someone else out in like real life to be able to tell you like how it smells in the sillage, but I can tell you from smelling it now, a beast mode fragrance, like extremely loud fragrance, the type of fragrance that will linger and will last, and it will project, it will leave a sillage, though you need to be comfortable wearing very, yeah, again, artistic and creative fragrances. This is definitely not a blend that you come across every day. I haven't tried anything like this. It's not the most wearable one, but if you have a taste for more ambiguous fragrances, I guess, start with the 20 ml. Either you click with the fragrance and you rock it, either you don't click and the fragrance wears you. This is the kind of energy this fragrance gives me. If, let's just say, with something like this, that I will mention after, you could wear it, like even if you find it a little bit challenging, but I don't think this is challenging, by the way. I don't think it's a darker fragrance, but I don't think it's challenging. This, if you don't click with the fragrance, it almost feels like you're wearing a borrowed fragrance, or like yourself and the fragrance, you're like from two different realities or dimensions, you know. At least this is the vibe I get when I smell something like this. But yes, and now speaking of the next fragrance, Royal Blend. I love this DNA, and I love it so much that even though this as a standalone fragrance, it's more of a statement fragrance, again, a very chic fragrance, could be your day-to-day signature worthy style of fragrance, but it's more elegant in a way. It has something that, I don't know, I couldn't picture this fragrance, I don't know, like wearing it to the market, to do the groceries, or like to a supermarket or anything like this, even though I have worn it to the supermarket to do the groceries, and let me tell you, I felt amazing doing that. This is a fragrance I have just clicked with it, and I have clicked with this DNA in particular. It's a DNA that I love at the moment. This is, by the way, their inspiration of Angel Share from Kilian, and they created such a beautiful inspiration with this fragrance. You guys, again, if you are not a fan of having multiple fragrances with somewhat something similar about them, I'm not really sure if this will be our cup of tea, but like when I smell this fragrance, even though I get a very similar apple pie-like facet from Hamra, but I still don't think that they are that similar. Or I even get some facets from this one, from Amberythme, that again, apple pie, but the way the apple pie is done in Royal Blend, it makes it feel icy cold and cooling to me. It's almost like you take an apple pie from the fridge with this cold molecular drive with the accord. They created such a beautiful fragrance here. Yeah, I think this is like between Sublime Comedy from Twins, between not Fire Your Desire. There was a fragrance that was inspired by Angel's Share. Fire Your Desire, I think. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Was it Fire Your Desire? This fragrance, this is the loudest and the strongest, and the performance is above average in terms of this fragrance. And I have to say, I gravitate towards this DNA much more. I even have another fragrance from a different brand, from a Turkish brand. The brand is called Nayam, and the fragrance is called Decadent. And that is their take again on the DNA of Angel Share, and that is even stronger than this one. This is very strong to begin with, so performance department, no complaints there. So that fragrance, even though it's stronger, but I think it's much more expensive. I say it's around 100 euros. And for 100 euros, I will be very honest, I don't really think it's worth it, considering it's an inspiration at the end of the day. Yes, it has 30% oil concentration, but still, you guys, it's an inspiration. But I found it for a good price when a specific website had some sales going on, and I bought it from there. And I'm so happy to have both this one and the Decadent in my collection, and I love the DNA. Now, I feel like I am the type of person, I don't know why, when something is very popular and trending, like I'm not even curious to try that fragrance. Like when I know that everybody is wearing that specific fragrance, like I don't even want to smell it. I don't know why. I have this side of me. But after, let's just say, the hype trend tones down a little bit and I get to smell it, that's when I click with the fragrance. I think maybe it's because I don't want to wear the same fragrance that you can smell on 10 other people. If you had this fragrance on your wish list, try it. Try it, test it, of course. Start with the sample, start with the decant, you know what I always say, but please try it, because I don't think you will be disappointed in terms of this fragrance. At least for me, it's a huge hit, huge success, one of the most beautiful discoveries from this year. So for the sake of doing a dedicated update video, even though I know for sure I have mentioned this fragrance and its update in so many videos, I think every video where I get a chance to talk about Teriaq by Lattafa, I mention give it time, because this age is like fine wine. And yes, you guys, give it time, because this age is like fine wine. Of course, I know in some cases you just never click with the fragrance, and that's just life, you know. I still haven't clicked with some of the fragrances that I gave them plenty of time. But in terms of this fragrance, I could notice like significant changes, scent-wise, texture-wise, smoothness-wise, performance-wise. I have noticed significant changes after I let this fragrance sit, and I think it shows. I love this fragrance. I adore this fragrance, you guys. Not that I love it, I adore it. Again, I think it's like in my top 30 for life, and I even purchased 2 more backup bottles, because again, I found a great deal for the fragrance, and I know I want to have it. The thing is, when I love a fragrance, I want to wear it every time I'm in the mood to wear that fragrance. I don't really like to, like when I'm in love with a fragrance, I have fragrances that I'm in love and obsessed, and I have fragrances that I just like. And I like to wear them here and there, but I can't say that I am like obsessed with the fragrance. But I have fragrances that feel like an extension of me in a way, and this is one of them. And when I come across such a fragrance, I always want to have backups of it, just to be able to like freely use it, you know, because if I don't have another bottle, like when I see that it starts to go pretty low, I'm like, oh, maybe I should put it aside a little bit to be able to purchase another bottle. And you know, yeah, no, with this one, amazing. This, you guys, like I cannot tell you how beautiful that caramelized accord has developed in such a way, you guys. This fragrance, if you have watched the review, I told you that in the opening, the suede accord felt like it overpowered a little bit the other notes, but now I don't have this issue. You still get the suede accord, but it's much more balanced now. It doesn't take the shine away. And the texture of this fragrance feels rich and honeyed from the get-go. It doesn't get to that part, let's just say, I don't know how many hours in. No, it's just, it's like this from the beginning. This is for the lovers of sweet fragrances. Again, I'd say 80% of the feedback I received for this fragrance is amazing. 20% of the feedback is like, I hate it. Or either I hate it, either I cannot stand this fragrance, either I was repulsed when I tried this fragrance and I gave it away, either I smelled it and it was a huge no. But like, some people hate it, some people completely love it. It's a fragrance that, let's just say, awakens very strong reactions in people, and it's understandable. But for me, I love it. So yeah, this is the update. Let me know, by the way, if you have it and you didn't like it when you have first tried it. Let me know if you have noticed any improvements, if you still have it in your collection, because I know some people told me that they sold it after a while. So about this fragrance, Secret Musk from Khadlaj. Yeah, this was a more recent add to my collection. So scent-wise, I don't think I have noticed any changes, honestly. But let me tell you about the performance of this fragrance, because I have actually worn it. This is a very loud fragrance, you guys. Very loud fragrance. I'd say almost as loud as Amberythme from Afnan, almost as loud as Arabian Stonka. Maybe it doesn't last as long as Arabian Stonka. Arabian Stonka lasts around 12 hours on my skin, which is like sorcery. By now, like, how is that possible when fragrances in general do not last on my skin? But that fragrance just like sticks to my skin and doesn't want to go. So that fragrance is amazing. Performance-wise, longevity, projection, sillage, impeccable. I adore that fragrance. Again, everything about it, scent profile, performance, nothing to complain. Now, this fragrance, even though longevity, I can say that it lasts 12 hours on my skin, but it lasts, you guys. It lasts, and the time it lasts, this fragrance keeps projecting and projecting and projecting. So from this perspective, it is a loud fragrance. And I love how it smells. Yeah, I like what they did with the chocolatey facet. If anything, I feel like that got a chance to shine a little bit more. Yeah, I really like what they did with this fragrance, you guys. I will add here on the screen, because I know I kept saying, sorry, I have something in my eye. I know I kept saying that I will give you an update, and I promised some women in the comment section that I will give them an update in regards to how this fragrance compares to the other two, Noir d'Arabie. But instead of searching again for the comments, I will just add here on the screen a little bit of a comparison between this fragrance and Noir d'Arabie. So in case you want to purchase an inspiration, you know what are the differences between this one and Noir d'Arabie. So I will give a moment to read that. Those were the fragrances I wanted to give you an update in today's video. I have some other fragrances that I have reviewed here on my channel, and I do want to give you an update on them as well, especially on the ones that I have promised to give you an update on. I'm sorry for some, it took me longer than others. For instance, on Amberythme, I have already filmed a dedicated video where I give you an update and some layering combinations, but I just never got to post it. And then I was like, it was a little bit long, if I'm being very honest, because I was getting too sidetracked in that video. Then I wanted to refilm it, and then I was like, you know what, if I am giving you an update on that fragrance, and if I have promised I will give you updates on other fragrances, let me just make a big video where I give you updates on all these fragrances. So yes, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you have tried any of these fragrances, and if you have noticed any significant improvement in the way the fragrance smells, in the way the fragrance performs, I would be more than happy if you could share your feedback with these fragrances in the comment section. So this way, let's just say when someone who's interested in any of these fragrances stumbles across this video, that person reads the comment section, I'm sure they could find more than useful your feedback as well. Because let's not forget, you guys, that even though we all share, I mean, I'm guessing the people who watch me share a common taste with me, at least bits and pieces of a common taste in fragrances, but at the end of the day, we all perceive a fragrance in our own unique way, and that's the beauty of it. And I'm sure, like I always say, the more feedback, the better. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram if you want. But yes, you guys, thank you for being here. Yeah, sending you lots of love, hugs and kisses, and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys. Mwah.